Let's get something out of the way right from the start. People generally like the way that this generation of the Toyota Camry looks. I got compliments from a number of different people, from significantly older than me to Ella's teenage friends, all of which thought that the Camry looked really good in this spec. But what probably matters most to you is that currently, this is the best trim of the Toyota Camry that you can buy. And in this quick review, I'm going to tell you why. What's going on, everyone? Jax here, and today I have a quick review over the 2021 Toyota Camry Hybrid XSE. When it comes to exterior styling, the Camry is at its best in XSE trim, full stop. I've always thought personally that the Toyota Camry had kind of like nice proportions and a sort of good stance. It sort of appeared longer and lower and wider than other vehicles in its class, even if technically that might not have been the case. With its two-tone exterior colors and bright red interior leather trim, which was universally praised by everyone who saw it, the XSE still manages to stand out in a crowd, in a parking lot. You still notice it, and that's impressive considering it's been out for some time now. I still don't love the sort of abundance of angles and surfaces on the front end, but overall, I think the Toyota Camry is a pretty handsome offering in the class. There isn't much new to say about Toyota's hybrid drive systems. They work incredibly well, are nearly invisible in their operation, and they're so approachable and user-friendly that I don't know why Toyota just doesn't standardize them across every single model that they make. In this particular hybrid trim, it's rated at 44 miles per gallon in the city and 47 miles per gallon on the highway, and I easily was able to top that and sort of stop and go errand running around the suburbs where I was in EV mode far more often than sort of usual. Combined horsepower is rated at 208 horsepower with 163 pound-feet of torque coming from the four-cylinder engine and 149 pound-feet coming from the electric motor. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but because that electric motor is making that torque instantly and it can help the Camry get off the line, it actually has sort of enough thrust for pretty much anyone who would be shopping this particular model of car. So that's something to keep in mind, that the numbers don't quite totally explain the driving and the performance that you get out of them. Speaking of performance. Well, now, let's talk about that performance for a second, because this is the XSE trim, and that's supposed to be the sporty one, right? Well, I don't know if you fully noticed yet, but this is a Camry. Look, if you really want sporty driving dynamics, then buy a freaking Honda Accord. The real question is there a penalty choosing this particular trim over one of the naturally aspirated models, or the lower, higher trims, or different trims, or just different combination of options? Well, I don't think so at all. The Camry is quick enough in most situations. It hits 60 miles per hour in 7.4 seconds, which is not slow, I guess. And that electric assist from the motor gives it that sort of instant torque shove that I mentioned a second ago that makes it sort of feel faster than it actually is. The steering has a pleasant weight to it. It doesn't feel overly light. It has a little bit of heft. And to be honest with you, the suspension tuning in this is perfect perfection for the Camry's intended mission. It might not quite be Accord firm, but there's sort of a sophistication to it that is comfortable and compliant, but it maintains body control. It is a better balance, I think, overall than something like the Kia K5 or Hyundai Sonata. I actually really like it. Even though I would still prefer a little more firmness, I thought the Camry suspension was very well controlled and balanced for most situations. I did take it on the handling road, which you might have seen in some of my other videos, and it was able to maintain control and never once became floaty. Even over the especially bad bump, there was a little bit of secondary motion, but not so much that I would complain in the slightest. Downsides to the performance and handling? Well, honestly, it's really just sort of a wooden feeling brake pedal that gets a little grabby at low speeds, but honestly, this is a complaint that you could levy against most hybrid systems, so I don't really consider that a noteworthy downside. In the ride and handling department and in the performance department, the Camry is quite good. The main upgrade in here is a larger 9-inch screen is available, but unfortunately, it's still running Toyota's aging infotainment system. Don't get me wrong, it's still very fully featured and a cinch to use. However, the graphics and resolution are rapidly falling behind other vehicles in the class, and the sort of buttons flanking the screen look kinda chintzy, to be honest with you. I do think the fact that it's 2021 and this is the same on the 2022 model, it's a testament to how good this system was when it debuted. And I hope other automakers take note in terms of ease of use and setup. But I imagine that with the debut of Toyota's new giant screen on the Tundra, we're going to start seeing a new sort of advancement in their UI inside of their cars, especially considering that the Venza and the Highlander top trims and stuff have that giant rectangular screen that is in sort of all the Lexus products as well. So it would be nice to see some of the mainstream kind of models get that larger screen. The design honestly still looks really good in here. However, the material quality is kind of hit and miss. It looks really nice, but there is some hard plastic here and there. I do think a lot of the touch points are soft enough, and I like this sort of faux stitching on the dash, especially in this red and black trim. Looks really cool. But some of the knobs and buttons are starting to kind of show their age and things like that. And a sort of smoother, more futuristic design I think would be welcome. To put it on par with something, I would say it's kind of on par with something like the K5, but definitely not in the same league as like the Accord and the Sonata. You are getting a lot for your 37 grand and change in here though, that's for sure. All of Toyota's safety systems, a pretty booming JBL sound system, which is extremely bass heavy as Toyota likes to go with JBL, but you know, the 90s kid with two 10-inch subs in the trunk, I like that fine, I'm okay. This isn't Savage Geese. I'll let those guys handle the audio files. For me, give me that thumping bass every day of the week. You also get heated seats and the aforementioned awesome looking interior leather. And the Camry is always been enormous inside. There's plenty of room up front. Mrs. Jax and I just went and saw a movie. Extremely spacious up front. She really liked the way the interior looked, by the way, if you're watching this and you're buying for your wife. And the back seat is easily big enough to fit grown adults. It's not quite big enough for someone my height. I don't know if you know this, but I'm 6'6". Sorry I was so emphatic about that. It's a bit of an inside joke. Hi, friends. The trunk is also enormous and easily can swallow enormous things, but the backup camera still sucks. So should you buy a Toyota Camry hybrid in XSE trim? Well, to be honest with you, personally, I think that this is the best Toyota Camry that you can buy right now. It is the best looking, it has all of the virtues of Toyota's hybrid drive system, and it has just enough zest in the ride and handling department to make the experience noteworthy rather than indifferent. You get all of the options that you could really want or ask for under $38,000. And it has all the space that you need, even if your family is super tall, like mine is. In short, we've kind of reached peak Camry with this hybrid XSE, and I personally am interested to see where Toyota goes from here. Oh, and would I personally buy a Camry Hybrid XSE? No, I would buy a Honda Accord every day and twice on Sunday. Sorry, Camry. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here and being part of the channel. Comment down below in terms of mainstream sedans. Two things, I'm interested. Comment whether or not you would buy an Accord over a Camry. What do you think of this Camry? And comment, do you think these mid-size sedans are gonna last much longer? We're only down to a handful. And I'm deeply curious to see how Toyota and Honda and Kia and Hyundai approach the next generation of these mid-size sedans. As always, please be sure to like and subscribe and share this with whoever you might think finds it relevant. And I will catch you in the next video. Ride safe and drive safe. I'll see you soon. Peace.